Todd, some rides test your skills, and others just test your ability to ignore bad decisions until they become great stories. Our goal at Best Motorcycle Roads is to make your next motorcycle trip the best it can be. Bad decisions, unexpected challenges, and sheer determination. This episode proves that Best Motorcycle Road Stories comes from the rides that almost didn't make it.
That's true.
So we're going to do a countdown. 6 of our favorite road stories. So this will be part 1. And the first one I thought we would do is ones that maybe the bike that shouldn't have made it, but somehow did.
So this is number 6?
This is 6.
All
yeah,
right.
thank
All
you.
right, we're ready.
So my old, unreliable, untested 1978 Goldwing. So I'll set the stage, Todd. It's 5 o'clock in the morning, pouring rain, and Mike was questioning my decision-making skills. It was my birthday, and I really had just one wish. I wanted to go have a Moonburger in Moonshine, Illinois. But there's a problem. Moonshine rules are you can never be too early, but you can be too late.
Yeah.
And too late means the grill shuts off at noon. And then the bigger problem is I'm riding a 1978 Goldwing that actively actually hates the rain. So the other victims on this trip were Brad and Mike, and we were just about to embark on the first ever Tail of the Dragon ride. It was one of our legendary rides, test of skill, right? Yeah. And I was showing up with a 34-year-old bike held together by hope and bad decisions. And as I mentioned, they said you could never be too early, but you can sure as hell be too late. And if I was late, then I was going to have to wait at least in the year for a birthday Moonburger. So they're open from 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. and closed on Sundays. So we were heading out on a Saturday, actually. So anyway, the first gut punch clearly is of the bike that hates rain is the weather. So we leave. It's probably 5:30, quarter till 6, because it's about a 5 or 6 hour drive there. And within 15 miles, it starts raining. And then it just continues to get worse. And with the bike that has a reputation for hating water, we were practically riding for a car wash. We're 45 minutes in. We did not get out of Iowa yet. And the old wing is coughing. I mean,
man.
And it's not good, but like I've rode it enough in the rain that you kind of, it'll start to sputter and you kind of give it more gas and it'll finally kind of come out of it. It never fully is. So you're really just riding it like almost full out.
Yeah.
We have radios at the time, but it's really the push to talk radios. So it's really hard to hear anything. We're on the interstate in the rain. And as you know, like on these bikes at the time, I mean, we're not talking about the most maximum wind protection.
Right.
If you'd see the windshield I had on it is about the size of 2 hands put together. So it's just raining. And then we'd need to stop for gas because Mike and I were running about 150 miles for gas. So we'd literally just get out of the rain and we need to stop for gas. Oh, yeah. And then the rain would pick back up.
Catch up to you.
Yeah. So everything. So the time is ticking because we know we have to get there, but it just keeps raining and getting closer to noon. And it's like, do we stop or not? Right. Yeah. Like, I mean, Brad and Mike both have pretty modern bikes, which have no allergies to the water at all, but they're wet and working fine. Meanwhile, I'm just like, I mean, honestly, I'm curious if it's going to make it.
Yeah, you're in like full contact battle mode at that point.
I'm not trying to admit this might have been the dumbest thing that we've ever done. So we stop for like fuel one more time, and I'm just like, should we wait it out? It's probably stupid. We but go on, but Todd, damn it was my birthday. And dang it, I deserve a Moonburger on my birthday. So, and Mike and Brad, they'd never been there before, and I really wanted them to come. So it was no time to quit, Todd. So we made the final push, and then finally, the closest actual town to Moonshine, Illinois is a town called Casey, Illinois, and I can see we're getting miles to Casey. So we know we're there. We're close to Moonshine. And did I mention the population? It was 2 at the time of Moonshine, Illinois. Both people that lived and worked there.
Wow.
The bike is still stuttering, but I see the road, and we made it. And it was not even 11:30, so we had plenty of time to spare. So it was really a glorious moment when we walked in. I got the double Moonburger, and now, honestly, it's part of Rubber Ducky Bike Tour fame. You know, was it the best burger I ever had? Probably not, but it sure did taste like victory.
Absolutely.
So sometimes you trust the bike and pray a little bit, right?
Right.
And for the record, the Goldwing did make it all the way to the Tail of the Dragon, And thank goodness we didn't see any more rain, so it ran great. Oh, so that was a good one. That was a great ride. It was fun. And I don't know, we talk about this a lot, but some of the goofy stuff we do, like that is what actually makes that trip so memorable.
Yeah.
So the second story, I guess, we called Chasing the Sunset and Running Out of Time. So this is the first time I think you actually went to the Tail of the Dragon.
Yeah.
And we were riding down, and to the Devil's Triangle is a little bit outside of kind of Tail of the Dragon land. It's on the north-ish side of those things. And so it was getting dark. I think it was our second day. It was getting dark, and we really weren't making as many miles as I had planned, but I don't think that comes as a shock, right? I mean, I tend to be a little aggressive, especially to get us there. So we had packed in the miles on this trip, and the Devil's Triangle was a little bit out of our way from kind of like a detour-ish from the hotel, if you remember. But we had planned to ride that road on the way down, because it was kind of out of the way. I don't know if you remember that. And so we had a choice to make. We could play it safe and just cut it off and go to the hotel, or skip it, or go full send this baby in the dark, right? So game time decision. Everyone decided full send. We came to ride, right?
Yeah.
So then we get to Mark, or as we affectionately call him, Turk. And one little quirky thing about Turk is he doesn't like mountain roads. He doesn't like bridges.
Right.
He doesn't like anything where the pavement suddenly disappears into nothingness, the big baby. But luckily, there's a couple things that Mark didn't know, right? This road had all of those. But it was night.
It was nighttime.
So we couldn't see a dang thing. And we didn't really know that ahead of time. So, and really, I mean, the Devil's Triangle is a great road. And it's no joke.
Yeah.
I mean, it's serious. It's located it's kind of the intersection of highways 62, 116, and 330. So about 44 miles, not much shoulder, scattered guardrails, the bike, and a whole lot of faith, right?
Right.
And in the daylight, it can be intimidating. But the great thing is at night, it's really just a blindfolded trust fall on two wheels.
Right.
So here we go. It's dark. We're going into the black void, and Mark is killing it. He's right there in the middle of us. I think smoothing the corners, no hesitation, loving the road. In fact, he's on intercom saying, "I like this. This is great, right?"
Yeah.
But we're talking it's pitch black. Trees, darkness because there's drop-offs that we can't see. Hairpin turns. I don't know if you remember at one point, and it's at the beginning of the middle, I would call it. Double switchback, but I'm not kidding you. It has to be at least, would you say, 50 feet?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So it's double switchback. So I'm leading, and I think Chris is in the back with his Harley, and he's got the most absolutely obnoxious white light. It's like first LEDs on any of the bikes that we had, and his light. So we do the first switchback, and then the second switchback. And when I get coming out of the second switchback, he's going into the first, and I'm like, no kidding, looking up and back and thinking, my goodness, it's way up there. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I think I was at the back of the line. I just remember seeing you guys winding back and forth so high above me. I couldn't believe how high it was.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
So
it was like a line of lights, but it was so far up there. Yeah.
And Mark, of course, blissfully unaware and probably humming in his helmet, which does beg the question on that particular point. Did he not think about the heights of it? That's
right.
But we all loved it. We had a great trip. We called ahead to the hotel and told them we were going to be a little late, and that was great. We had a great trip. Did all of our dragon rides, and we're on the way home. And we're like, gosh, it would be nice to see this Devil's Triangle in the daytime, right?
Right.
So we said, do we do a detour and take it? And we all agreed we should. And so what we did was we went the other way, which is then we could ride it both directions, which is kind of sometimes things you do. And we turned on to the road. I remember him going, what's going on? And you could see it. He saw what he rode through already. And he's like, and at one point I know he noticed, because one of the first things was it's got painted lines, but that's about it. But one of them, it was like a pothole that had fallen off. So if you literally would have rode the painted line, you would have
dropped.
dropped.
You would have dropped. Yeah.
So he's no longer quite the smooth. We're riding in such a way that part of it, like he's riding on the wrong side of the road to avoid as much as possible the edge. And then in the headset, he's like, I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this at all. Brad's laughing because he was saying to Mark, you rode this fine the other night. What's your problem? Because I didn't know I was about to die, Turk says. He's so tight against the mountain, like he's about ready to ride the side.
I remember that.
And then there's cars. I mean, there wasn't a bunch of cars that were coming, thank goodness, because like he was literally in the wrong lane of traffic all the time. So I guess it turns out what you can't see won't scare you until you see it in the daylight. Oh, that's when you start to question your other life choices. Right. So ignorance is bliss. And, the good news is your friends will absolutely let you ride a terrifying Martin road in the dark if you don't tell them.
That's right.
So next time we just decided we'll bring a blindfold and tell Mark it's better for his aerodynamics.
Oh, yeah, it is. Absolutely.
He doesn't ever fail to remind us that we made him do that.
We made him do it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, and I guess we have one more. This is our fourth one for today, so this will be the three that we do.
Our third one for today.
Yeah,
today,
well, and for
4.
this episode,
yeah.
And then we'll do three more the next one because these were just too good. So, it's kind of like the nutty idea, I guess, that I would say started as a joke and now has become something we don't do without.
Yeah.
And that's how some traditions start, right? Some start with a meaning, some start with history, and some start because some idiot secretly makes T-shirts and then forces everyone to wear them when we get down there.
That's right.
The ride itself really was just another good trip, but the shirts they ended up taking on a life of their own, I guess.
Yeah.
So the beginning of this really started as a kind of two-way go, right?
Two separate rides, yeah.
Yeah, because you couldn't go the first day.
Yeah, the band I play in we had a gig on the night.
Of course.
The day you were leaving, we had a gig that night, so I had to stay and play the gig and then leave early the next morning.
Right.
And I left, at sun up and just did a straight ride, like 8 hours to Memphis.
Down the 4-lane.
Yeah.
While you were doing that, we had took a detour to Paducah, Kentucky, and then we were going to take we found some fun roads in Tennessee, and then we thought we'd just meet you in the evening in Memphis. So we I remember like finding these just really great Tennessee back roads, and we're just like, these are amazing. I mean, it was just fun. And by afternoon, I think we were about 2 hours from where we're supposed to be meeting you. We're like, oh crap, we're kind of not exactly sure where we're at, because this is I can't remember if we had GPS quite yet, but if we did, it was kind of sketchy, even some of the GPS signals. So, and basically instead of 2 hours, we ended up being 3 hours. So we did what we never should do on a motorcycle trip, and we stopped and asked for directions. Yeah. And I'm not kidding you, we're in the middle of Nowheresville, Tennessee, and straight out of what you might imagine to be like a 1950s gas station. This thing was tiny. Couple pumps up front, like a little awning over the top, and a screen door on the door going into this place. And we walk inside, and I'm not going to tell you. We walk in, and you back out. That's how small this place was. And a true native Tennessee gentleman was in charge. And I think Brad asked, hey, we're trying to get to Memphis. Can you just tell us the best and fastest way? And he looks at us, and he says, you mean Nashville? And we said, no, we mean Memphis. He leans forward and he's just basically saying, like, you're closer to Nashville than you are Memphis, boys. Dead silence. So, what do you do at this point? Do you laugh? Do you pretend you meant to do it?
And the funny thing is, I remember like calling you guys right about this time, and I said, I'm nearly there.
Yeah, like you're running ahead of schedule, of course.
I'm running ahead of schedule.
Which is never happens.
Right. I'm like, where are you guys at? And we're like, oh, we're really close to Nashville. I'm like, shit, I'm going to be there like 2 or 3 hours ahead of you guys.
Right. So basically, we're officially late. And then we have one other problem is Mike's got this old B-Star 650, which, I mean, the thing is slow. There's no doubt about it. So we just said, Mike, we're going that way. And you just lead and you go as fast as you feel comfortable for. And off to Memphis we go. So.
Yeah. So meanwhile, I've been riding nonstop.
Because it's July.
It's July, and I don't want to be late. I don't want to make you guys mad at me again or something. So I'm riding nonstop, and through Iowa, Missouri, Tennessee, in the sun with no sunscreen on my face.
Right.
Not even realizing it.
But like you didn't even know this.
I didn't
like
know.
You didn't notice anything was
no.
happening.
And when you have nice cool wind, I had a helmet on. And I have a modular.
I was just going to say.
I flipped the.
You usually
the
run
bar.
with your modular up.
Yeah,
especially when it's this hot.
Yeah, the bar up because it was. Yeah, I had my sunglasses on, but I had the bar up. And with all that cool air in your face, it just feels nice. I had my legs up and all that. And when I finally met up with you guys in Memphis, I had been there a little while.
I think you had your helmet off.
I had my helmet off, and you guys just start dying laughing. You're losing it. I'm like, what's going on? What's so funny?
Yeah, you're wondering, we have heat stroke.
Right. Well, not, all of a sudden they were like, you better look in a mirror. And I look in a mirror, and I'm not kidding you. My glasses made that white. My forehead was still white from being in my helmet. But all around my mouth, up to the sides of my helmet, was pure red.
It was so red.
It looked like I had like a clown makeup all the way around my mouth and nose. It was like bright red, but it was just a certain area with a real sharp line all the way around. It was the worst look.
Your eyes were so white because of the glasses. Oh my gosh.
Oh, it was ridiculous.
Oh, so anyway.
There's nothing I could do about it at that point.
No, I mean, you can't even even it out, and then you got to put sunscreen on because
yeah.
So we had a great time though in Memphis. It was really all based kind of around Elvis was our theme. We hit Tops Barbecue, which is like a local barbecue place, Graceland, toured the museum, Plains, the Grave. We rode down to Tupelo and saw Elvis's birthplace. So it was great, but the thing that no one saw coming was this was the first time that I had secretly made T-shirts. Mm-hmm. And I had made them before the trip, packed them. No one knew I had them. And so we were going to do all the tours. So I figured, when you're going to have a tour, you might as well have matching shirts. So I pull out the rubber ducky Elvis shirts. And what I had done is we have like a ducky logo that we've had. And I basically dressed Elvis or the duck up as a ducky Elvis.
Yeah.
And put it on the shirts. And I think Brad said, so are we all wearing these? Todd didn't care because he was so emotionally defeated from the sunburn. But honestly, everyone was a great sport. We wore them that day, and it became kind of the joke that turned into one of the things we have done as a tradition now, really.
Yeah.
So
now we look forward to the shirts.
I know, and we almost someone kind of takes charge of them and makes it and tries to make it fun, and they've really outlived all the other things we've done. I think it's the one tradition that we continue to have because some idiot decided to order shirts without telling anybody. So I guess we learned two things on that trip: is always wear sunscreen, and if Tom ever shows up with a surprise shirts, we wear them and see how it goes.
That's right.
This is a section we call the Toolkit. We share motorcycle gear review, and other riding tips. So, I threw a few things in the toolkit for this time, Todd. I thought a literal emergency toolkit. We talk about it sometimes, but just having that small roll, and you can get metric or Harley or whatever toolkits that are kind of pre-done. Mm-hmm. It's just nice to have a few of those things that are in there. And then a real GPS, because I remember sometimes you do end up spaces that don't even have cell phone signals.
Yeah.
And you can download maps and you can do this and that, but even the motorcycle-based, mostly at Garmin's, they are nice to have because the maps are on there, and at least you can get you to the next waypoint. And a lot of times your hotel or a restaurant, and it might not be the most fun motorcycle route, but at least it'll get you there.
Yeah, the other thing I like about those, rain doesn't bother them.
No.
You can have your gloves on and touch them. So
they're very friendly in that way.
They're very friendly for motorcycling.
Exactly. Yeah. And then they don't short out your phone cord.
You don't burn up your phones in the rain. That's right.
I threw a small cooler on there. You and I have done this a number of times. Yep. It's kind of nice just to have a little ice, a little cold water once in a while. And then we're going to keep pushing our new favorite that's the trip notebook. Mm-hmm. That's our 2025 year resolution, I guess you might say, is to document better because we recently met for our kind of spring planning, and it was a really good time remembering all the things, and then we started to write down more things. And having these trip notebooks, if we'd have done that along the way, I think we'd have been in much better.
Been gold.
Yeah, gold, Jerry. So if you like the podcast today, please like, subscribe, sign up for our BMR Rider Alerts. It's our way of keeping you in the loop, and we promise no spam.
Keep the spirit of adventure alive, and remember, bikes, friends, and endless roads, the stories ride forever. Take care.